employee, that is Yash, and we are including the values 18,000. So 18,000 is the basic of Yash and 12,000 is the basic of Tushar. So we will get the total salary of these two employees, because what we had done, we are included only two employees values. If we want to print more than two values, we can use particular array up to 50 times, because our array size is of 50. So we can include 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 up to 50. Our maximum size is 50. We can print the values up to 50, not more than 50. So in that program we are including four values of Tushar and Yash. Tushar basic salary is 12,000. Yash basic salary is 18,000. So what output we will get? We will get a particular table: name, basic, DA, HRA, TA, total and net. In that name we are included Tushar. The basic salary is 12,000. Then 50% DA is included, 12 plus 6, 18, and HRA, then TA. Then the total salary will be 20,200. Then from the 20,200, 5% is the deduction. So deduction is done, and from the net salary we are getting 19,190 rupees. Similarly, in the case of Yash, 18,000 is the salary. We are having DA is 9,000, then 2,700 HRA, 400 TA. Because 400 TA, why? Because TA was constant value. Then 30,100, and he is getting 28,595. These are the two values for two employees we had printed. So if we want to print more than two values, we can print these values in a particular order by using an array of structure. Then the structure initialization. The structure initializations can be done by directly putting the values onto the variables. We are having a particular structure, and we are initialize the value of structure here. We are included structure book, character title, author, pages, and float price. If we want to represent these values into a particular book values, we can print the values of book also. So we are including B1 variables, which starting with curly braces. Then let us see. In the double quotes it is, so title is let us see, and then the author, by using a comma we can represent the different value. Then the author is also of character array. We are using connector. Our connector writer is of particular let us see book. Then integer pages, 300 pages it is having, and 150.50 paisa is the floating price. Then 150 rupees and 50 paisa is the price which is in float. Then we can represent this book title, author, pages and price into a variable which can be represented in the template structure. Then if there are fewer initializations than that of the member variables in the structure, the remaining members variables are initialized to 0. What the statement says, that if we are not initializing any values, automatically it can be represented as the 0. If we are initializing, if we are including any values, we can assign with the variables, and we can use these values with the variables. It is just as similar as we are representing a variable with a particular value. If we had assigned a values to a variable, the variable becomes constant. Similar way, if the variable b1 we had defined, then the variable b1 is included in the constant stage, and the constant stage we are having values that let us see is the title, connector is the author, and 150.50 is that particular price. And one thing is also not included here, that is the pages, what the pages is it's having. Then to show this, I am also having a particular program. Then suppose there is a question that write a program to initialize the values of all members of structures. We had include more than one variables, and we have to initialize these variables. Then struct item, then void main, and in struct item template we had represents character n, that is the name of item of 80. Then the quality, that what the quality of integer we are having, that also represents the quantity. Then float, rate and price. then we are representing that I equals to pen 3.105, then 31.5. So what we are having, we are having that item name is pen, quantity is 3, then the float rate is 10.5 and price is 31.5. The rate represents that there is a 3 pence and we can represent a particular rate that is of floating type. Then printf the name of item, that percentage s I comma n, then quantity of item I comma quantity, then rate I comma rate, then price we are representing the price of that. Then what output we will get after initializing these things? So we had initialized pen, the name of the item is pen, the quantity of the item is 3, then the rate equals to 10.5000 and 31.5000 is the price. So we can say that if we are initializing any values to a particular structure, then these values work as a constant and we can directly print these values, and at the time we are printing the output of the program. So there is a simple statement, we can say that for constant type of structure we can use structure initialization. Then another portion, the next point is nested structure. We had learned earlier that there is a nesting of loop. We had also seen that in the nesting of loop, a loop can be called within a loop, and in the nesting of particular function, we had in the last lecture I told that the function can call itself, that is called recursion of function. Similar way, there is a structure can be called a structure. So one structure which is the individual member can call the structure of different variables and values in that particular program. So the individual members of a structures can be structure itself. Such structure declarations with some members as structure is called nesting structure or embedded structures. So the structures to be embedded must be initially declared as a structure and then it should be included as the member of another structure. So what are the steps? First we have to check that the structure should be embedded. So that we can represent that a structure is having a structure. A structure is having a particular name of variable, and that variable itself is a structure. So first we have to check that the structure is to be embedded type or not. Okay, then for showing this we are having an example, struct address. In the struct address we had included structure character address 1, character address 2, character area, character city, then all of array types, and we had included in address field. Then in that employee we are having another structure of employee. In that template what we had done, we had included the character name, struct address A and int salary. So struct address A represents the calling of structure, and which structure it is calling? It is calling a structure which is having a structure name address. So above we are having a address. In address field we had included address 1, address 2, area, city and everything, the details of address which is included in the address structure. And in the second employee structure we had called the structure address A. So in the main program what we are including, void main curly braces, then struct employee E, clear screen, printf enter name, printf enter name, scanf percentage s e dot name. So when we are entering a name we are also printing the values of enter name and percentage s e dot name. Then printf enter address, line 1, line 2, area and city. So we have to get these values. So we are using gets. Gets is the function that getting the particular string onto the console screen. Then gets e dot a dot address. E represents the employee structure which is having an address structure. Address structure can be represented by A, because A was the variable which was represented in the employee structure. Then address 1, similar way gets e dot a dot address 2, similar way e dot a dot area, e dot a dot city. So we can fetch the values of address 1, address 2, area and city from the address structure. Then printing F, we are printing the salary, give salary, and we are scanning the salary modulus D, address of E dot cell, and printing printf details of employee. And in the details of employee we are printing all these values what we had put or what we had entered in that above instructions. So printf name percentage s e dot name, printf address, printf percentage s e dot s dot address 1, similar way printf percentage s e dot s dot address 2, printf percentage s e dot s dot area, printf percentage s e dot s dot city. So no need to confuse about all these things, because address 1, address 2, area and city are the details which is to be presented in the template of address. So we are printing from employee structure the address values. So printf salary e dot cell. Why we are not included e dot s dot cell? Because it was already available in the address salary. It is already available in the employee. Okay. So at the output we will get enter name ABC, line 1, line 2, area and the city name. So A4 is the line 1, new city is the line 2, near railway station Gandhinagar, and if we are giving the salary, that 20,000 is the salary. So when we are printing these values, the details of employee will be print. So what there is a benefit of looping of a particular structure, of nesting of a particular structure. So when we are printing that ABC will be print from the employee structure, and the address field, the next address A4, new society, new railway, near railway station Gandhinagar, these values are printing from the address field. By declaring a structure variables of a nesting of different structure, we can fetch these values and we can print these values. So we are printing the salary, that is 20,000. So it is the benefit. Then the structure can be nested and the structure can call itself. When we are calling these two structures, then we are representing these structures not differently but as a one instance. Then passing of structure to function. Then we had seen that the structure is having nesting, so we can say that the structure is also having function variables. So there are the two ways to pass a particular structure to functions. First is passing individual structure members, then second thing is passing structure as a whole. Then our structure can be passed as a function, as a parameter, and also can be returned by a function. Okay, these two things represents that your whole structure can be passed as a function, or your structure variable can be passed as a function. We can represent a function as a structure variable. Also we can represent our whole structure template as in the function. For that, first we are including passing individual structure members. In this method we can pass a structure member as an argument to a function call, and in this process these individual structure members are treated as separate non-structure values. It cannot be included as a structure values, but it can be printed as a function values. In the passing structure as a whole, whole structure can be called as a function. So in this method we can pass the entire structure to a function by simply providing the name of the structure variables as the argument in the function call. So we are having one more program, hash include studio.h struct student, then character name of the student, integer roll, and we are using a function void display struct student stu. So function prototype should be below to the structure and the declaration, otherwise compiler error shows. This is a very important thing. So when we have to define a structure with a particular function, two ways: either you can represent void display as a function name and in before the main program, or we can use a function definition first after the function definition before the main function. So int main, main is the function which is returning a integer type values, then struct student s1. In the last process what we had seen that we are including a structure student, so structure student s1 we are using, then printf enter student name, scanf %s address of s1 dot name, then printf enter roll number, address of s1 dot roll, that is of integer type, that is why it is modulus d. Then we are using calling, we are passing a particular call to the display, and display is displaying the various values of structure. Then we are including display s1, we are passing s1 values to the display function so that it will print these values, and we are returning 0, so it will not return any type values. So we are defining the definition of the display functions. In the definition of display functions, we are including void display struct student stu. Okay, stu is the name of the structure of student type, then display is the function, then in that function definition we had included printf output, the name stu dot name. When we are including stu dot name, so what name we are scanning, we are printing, we are adding from to the console is directly print by using a display function. Then printf roll number %d stu dot roll, it prints the value of the roll number of that student which is represented in the structure student. Then enter student's name, what we are entering xyz, enter student's roll number, 123 is the roll number. So what we will get when we are calling the values of structure variables from the function, we are passing a structure into the function, then what we are getting, output name xyz and roll number 123. So what is the benefit of that passing a particular function? We are defining a structure and we are passing that structure into a function. So benefit of function is there, we can define it once and we can call it many times. Similar way, if we are having a structure and we are defining that